Hey everybody, welcome to Cards and Sharps. How y'all doing? Good, good. Glad to hear it. Hope everybody's staying safe and sane and healthy right now. Alright, what we are looking at today is the Gerber Kettlebell. And actually, I had seen these in the cases at sporting goods stores and retail outlets and places like that, and thought they was a nice looking knife. And I'm have not been a huge fan of Gerber knives and the ones that I've dealt with. I've reviewed a couple others on this channel, but they are a budget priced knife, so thought some of you folks might be interested in seeing it and maybe do a little comparison and do some other items in the same category. It is like I said, a nice looking knife with sort of a sheep's foot style to it. That short, chunky knife would be used in, just a lot of everyday type situations. It's got a pocket clip and all that, so it on the surface it looks like it would be a pretty nice knife. But let's start with looking at the specs on it before we get into too much of the what I do and don't like about this knife. Overall, it's 6.125 overall length. Open, the blade length is 2.5, so it does fit in those knives where you're good if you're 3-inch limit. You got a just over a 2-inch cutting area with that forward finger tool there. Blade thickness is 0.15, so it is a pretty nice chunky blade. Blade material is C7R 17 MOV, so they are using a budget steel there. Clip point, hollow grind with a stone wash finish. Plain edge. Handle length is 3.75, and the handle width is just over an inch here, about 1.25 inches at the widest point, with a little under a 1/2 inch thickness here, and it's aluminum material. It's got a stainless steel liner, and it is a frame lock. Kind of chunky though, comes in at 3.83 ounces, so typically 4 ounces is going to be my limit on what I consider carryable. Prefer a lighter, especially when it's getting smaller, but something that you might use for a little heavier duty stuff, a little bit more weight's okay with me. Actually, it feels substantial in the hand, not overly heavy or anything. As I mentioned, this particular model is called the Kettlebell. Not really sure, other than maybe the weight, what's too kettlebelly about it. It's a Chinese-made knife, of course, and let's get into some of the things we do and don't like. First, let's compare it to some other well-known knives that you may. This is the CRKT Polar. They're about the same size, and they're going to be used in the same type of applications. They're about the same weight, both pretty chunky for their size. Then we got the Kershaw Shuffle, which is also in that similar vein, and they all have the forward finger tool in the blade, so you can choke up, and similar, almost this one is a sheep's foot, and these two are close to being a sheep's foot. As you can see, it's might be overall a little bigger than the other two, and it's definitely the Kershaw is going to be the lightest out of these three. All right. So looks actually I think it wins out amongst the others on looks, and the texturing on the handle there, aluminum scales, is pretty nice. You hold it, you don't really get any hot spot issues. The clip a little bit right here, you feel it in your hand, but not enough I'd call a hot spot. It does have pretty good finishing here, no sharp edges or anything like that. Blade is tight, but so is the liner lock. I mean, it's pretty tight. It can be a challenge to get in there without getting your finger where you can really get it. It's hard to do with your thumb, is what I'm saying. And it's stiff. Now it does have pivot screws, so you could adjust that maybe and loosen it up a bit. But it is tight as can be, and you're not not even with any wrist action, you're not gonna flip it. Yeah, it's gonna be too tight to flip. I don't know if maybe some break-in time, take it apart and oil it, something might loosen that up. I mean, you can roll it out there and open it up easy enough one-handed, but when you go to close it, it's kind of painful on the thumb to get that lock over, but it's a good firm lock up. And blade centering is okay. Not a lot of room in there, so it needs to be centered. Design-wise, I love this knife. The look, the forward choil, so you can choke up. Would like to see some jumping here, but it does have some ramping, so you don't really feel like you don't have a good purchase on the knife. A lot going on here that it just seems like a good design and could be a really good knife. I mean, it's got tip up carry. I mean, all the things I like, and I would say compared to the Pilar, which is a knife I really like, it just there's a lot here that I would like better, but when it comes down to what just feels like build quality, the Pilar is better. And then you get into the shuffle, and it's a lot of the same issues that you get with this. Very tight. And I'm not sure, I don't quite remember what steel, probably 8CR, which is typical with Kershaw. Now this one, they did incorporate a bottle opener and a screwdriver, so it's a little more versatile actually, and it's got a deep carry clip versus just a standard clip. But looks wise, I like the look of the Gerber better. Build wise, it's going to be on the same par with this Kershaw. This one was really tight when I got it. I did loosen the pivot just a hair, and it works smoother to where it's easier to do one-handed. But still, I was disappointed in the quality out of the box for a Kershaw item on that. Just as I'm disappointed with the execution here. Design great, looks great. Feel the handle's great. It's just that, come on, if you're gonna make it a little more usable, I think. It's just so tight, and like I said, it might be more fair if I tried it a while and broke it in, but as it is, I'd be annoyed trying to carry this knife compared to the Pilar, which just works smooth, and it's worked smooth right out of the box. Easy to do one-handed. It's not a flip knife either, but it just works so much easier one-handed. So I know it's a Chinese-made knife, but CRKT has shown that they can use Chinese manufacturers with their designs and still put out a good product as far as quality, fit and finish, and that sort of thing. So we know they can make good stuff in China, and these come in around the same price-wise. These are both going to be in the low to mid 20s on price. Just looking at them, the kettlebell looks like it's a knife in the same vein, or if not even better, but just in execution of it, it's I'm gonna have to give it to CRKT there, and I'm going to say it's probably not just this example. If you read reviews on this knife at other places like Blade HQ, see other videos, everybody says the same thing. It's just so tight, and the design, they like the design, but the execution is flawed. Then you got the Shuffle, which comes in even cheaper. These are a sub $20 knife, more like about $14, $15, and just in the way the feel of it, I'm going to say the Gerber feels like it's in the same vein as this Kershaw is. So all in all, and I love all knives and everything, and I think Gerber, they've put out there, they've been around a long time, well known for their multi-tools. They like to present themselves as a quality product and at an affordable price, and I just think they could oversee the production and to where it's a little better execution on designs. I like the, from this to the flat iron, even the square, whatever it's called, and then their pair frames, all nice. They make very nice looking knives, but it just seems like somewhere in there they just keep the quality back to the point where it almost makes you think they're wanting to put out a more pricier knife, and they got to do something to separate them. I don't know. Some manufacturers do that. They purposely build in lesser quality on lower price points to push people to a higher price point. But you're really not seeing a lot of higher price point Gerbers out there to compare these two. But that is just my 2 cents worth on that. Have any of you tried the kettlebell? If you have, let me know what you thought of it. If you like the look of the knife, I'd say it's worth probably picking up in the low 20s range, and maybe tweak with it to get it to have a little better action. But we do know they can make good product out of China that comes in at a lot less. Here's a knife that is in that same price range as this, and this is put out by Sanran Mu, and knife just has flawless action. And it's a knife, actually, I leave it here on the table because I use it all the time for stuff around the house, and it's a little heavy to carry, but for $20, you don't expect everything. So we know, and it's good quality, and so we know they can make some good quality at it. Nice price point, and not paying more for the name if you don't put something out there that is equal to the name. Can't cut back and then rely on your name to carry you, and otherwise what happens is you end up cheapening your name and brand. All right, well that's me. That's my thoughts on the kettlebell and a bit of a rant. Like to hear what you guys think. Like and subscribe, of course, and we'll see you guys next time.